Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 866 of the Mike from Maine show, the place where we do daily interviews with successful online entrepreneurs. This is your host, Mike Thomas, and today on the show, we have Neil Napier on, and we're going to be talking about a software that lets you create Google-friendly original content from other people's content essentially and be able to use that on your own websites to get free traffic and of course monetize it as well. Let's get into it. Here's Neil. We are here today with Neil Napier. Neil, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Mike. Good to be here.
Neil, today we're going to be talking about a problem that a lot of us have when it comes to content marketing. We all want tons of content for our websites, but we either don't have the time, or we don't want to do it, or we don't want to spend the money to do it as well. Let me bring us into the topic today and the solution for all this by reading off the headline here for your new software. It says here, revealing our traffic generation secret, 3-step tool generates Google-friendly, high-authority content for your website in less than 60 seconds. And of course, the idea of getting this content is because we want the free traffic. So bring us into this. What's this all about, and why should we be excited?
Sure. It's interesting. I just realized when you were reading out the headline that I first started in marketing and internet marketing by actually doing content writing for other people. Yeah. So essentially, I'm kind of going back and removing the need for my job, which is okay. Now I don't need it anymore. But the thing is that we've been building many businesses outside of software creation as well, and JobRack is one of them. And for that, we need to do a lot of content marketing because sometimes paid advertising is expensive. Sometimes paid advertising is not allowed. I'll circle back to this example, and do remind me if I forget, but I met someone who's running a Shopify store in the sex toy market. Mm-hmm. And of course, he can't do any ads on Facebook and whatnot. So, the need for content marketing is actually very big. And every major website out there employs some kind of content marketing to generate traffic for their business. And we realized that it was important to do that for our business as well, and we started doing that. But the problem, of course, is that when you get down to writing content, it needs to be great, not just good, great. At the same time, it needs to be unique every time, and people need to be engaged. It needs to go viral to an extent. And that's all tough to do time after time again. So that was a big problem that we realized, that even though marketers like us wanted to do content creation and marketing, they wanted to go out there and publish something really good that people would read and share with their friends. It wasn't so easy to do so. It was expensive and time consuming. So we decided to create a solution that would instantly generate human readable content, so content that everyone can understand. It's persuasive. It's something that people associate with, and we wanted to give marketers the capability to create this kind of content and publish on their website as quickly as possible. So we tried this out a few times. I mean, there were different options we considered. For example, you can go back and look at e-signs articles or other websites that publish a lot of content. So we thought, what if we can repurpose some of that content on our website? It just didn't seem right, though, because that content is just sitting there. It's already indexed by Google. We basically, even if we try and take that into our domain and spin it and do 100 different tricks, it still wouldn't be completely unique and will probably mess up the readability. So we decided to go towards YouTube, because YouTube is still untapped when it comes to written content. And it's funny I say that, because a lot of people might think, okay, YouTube is just videos, and that's what it is. But here's the thing. When you're watching a video on YouTube, you can see underneath there's this button called, which says CC, it's closed caption. And what happens is that when people upload their videos on YouTube, sometimes they can choose to upload their own subtitles for that video as well, in which case they're just excellent. Or in other cases, people can choose to let Google convert the content on the video into text-based content. So what happens is, if you're watching a video, if you click on that CC button, you see all the subtitles showing up for that video. Now, I do admit that those subtitles can be pretty crappy. I mean, we've talked about that they can be illegible. You cannot really make sense out of it. But we considered that problem as well. And we realized that if we carefully extract the best content from these videos by taking the CC content that YouTube gives to us via the API, then we could convert this into a blog article. So we created a tool that would allow anyone to take a YouTube video in their market, and if there are subtitles, they might not always be, or they might be really bad. But in the case where there are subtitles, we provide them to you in a way that you can post it on your blog in under 60 seconds. So I don't know if I missed something from the headline, but that's the gist of what we have in store.
Yeah, because you and I right now, we're essentially, the whole idea of the Mike from Maine show is that we are creating content. Every time I do an interview with someone, every time I record a review video, I'm creating video content, and there are reasons why I use video. It creates a relationship. It's a higher level, more difficult to create content, so less people do it. But at the same time, it's creating text. The words that are coming out of our mouths right now, like you said, Google is taking those, or YouTube, which is owned by Google, of course, is taking those, and they are trying to figure out what we're saying, so they can get a better idea of what this video is about. So it goes into their whole ranking algorithm. A lot of people, they'll tell you that if you're doing like a review video on something, if you say the product name a few times, because Google will actually take that into account there. But we are right now, we're creating content, and I'm not using that content. As far as the written aspect of it, I don't use that, and it's kind of funny to think that we're actually creating something unique right now, other than just video. Now, when it comes to using this content, you brought up something about. And there's a few things, obviously, that I want to cover here about this kind of content. It can be a little bit gobbledygookedy. Like if you look at what we say, I might say, I'm Mike from Maine, and it might read off I'm Mike, and then it says like from Maine, like Main Street. I don't know. It might It might not translate it correctly. So when it comes to using that for your content, your sites, how do you handle that?
Sure. So there are a couple of things to mention there. First of all, if it's a person, let's say, with a heavy French accent doing a video in English, of course, Google's going to make mistakes. It works best. The closed caption program that they have works best when there's a naturally, let's say, for the English language, there's a native English speaker who's talking. I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to think if this program exists in other languages as well. It might, but then again, it's always best if you're following a native speaker, because they talk more clearly. It's understandable to a machine as well. So in that case, the quality aspect comes in. But again, there are those videos where the quality is terrible. Like we've just talked about it. It's just Google gobble. It doesn't make any sense. What we try on our end is to avoid those as much as possible. But it's tough to get that information from the API all the time. So generally, what we do is let's say if you're looking for English language video, then we try and stick to the US region. Now, there might be a little bit prejudice, but I think it is fair that someone who's coming from the US or the UK is going to be speaking in a native accent, so that's the quality of content that comes out of it is good. So we try and stick to that. But again, the software is so easy to use that if you find something that you don't like, you can just get rid of it, or you can edit it depending if you have time to edit that content before it's posted as well. So, quality at the end of the day comes down to the user. We try as best as we can technically to sieve out the bad videos, but at the end of the day, users have the publishing rights, so they can do whatever they want with the content.
Is it against the terms of service to take this content from YouTube?
It's a good question as well, because I can understand why people would think that, because you are taking content that someone else has created and you're posting it on your blog as your own. Now, my counter argument to that, and some people don't like it, is always give attribution. People say, I don't want to link back to this site because I'll leak out some link juice or whatever the SEO terms they use. But if you are taking content, if your content is inspired by someone else, you should always link back. So we have this as an optional field in the plugin, but I would always recommend someone that if you are content from a YouTube, please link to it at the end and say, this content was inspired by this video, or for more, look at this video. And I think it's only fair. In some cases, you can choose to embed the video, in which case you're not really taking credit for it. You're simply saying that, this is something I came across, and you can watch the video and you can read the content underneath as well. I mean, the other flip side to that is you can go into the content curation model, where you can grab all that content, but take only some parts of it, add your own mix to it as well, and publish that content. So, again, just circling back to your question, in terms of services, no, you don't break those by taking the text-based content from them, but ethically, morally, always link back to the video where you're getting the content from.
And you can monetize this content, like if you want to go out there and take review videos from people that maybe they've done Amazon reviews of products, you could then take that and put it on your site and link out to it. You can monetize it with perhaps AdSense ads or Amazon. Any other ideas as far as monetization goes in your experience with that?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're planning to do as well, it's something my VA will be doing, is we'll be looking at evergreen programs in the marketing market, and we'll be looking at the video reviews of those programs that exist online and converting them into text-based reviews and putting our own affiliate link instead. So what's going to happen is, let's assume this is an interview, right? It's not high ticket, but we could take this interview. If the subtitles exist, we could grab those subtitles, grab all the content, make a blog post, and then link basically our affiliate link. Like, hey, we know you want to read about Contentio. Here's an interview that Mike from Maine did with Neil Napier, and there's all the content. There's a link to your video as well. But underneath, if you want to check out Contentio, go to this link and check it out. And again, ethically, you might say, I'm not okay with that, but if you're not okay with that, you shouldn't be putting your content in public domain anyway. And again, Google allows people to grab this content, so they have ideas in mind as well about making sure that content goes everywhere, making sure the Google stamp goes everywhere.
It's funny, you were talking earlier about how you used to get paid to create content like this, and I've done the same thing. I actually did a Fiverr gig where I was getting paid $5 to take articles and just rewrite them, so I made them unique in the eyes of Copyscape and Google, and people would pay me for that content. I got $5 a pop for that. Now, I don't even have to do that anymore. Like, people don't need to pay anyone like me to do that. They can use the software to get unique articles. Like, that's what they wanted. They didn't care at the time, Neil. They didn't care if the article was like an amazing article. They just wanted content that was about the specific keyword, that was unique, so that Google wouldn't see it as content that was published elsewhere on the internet. Also, from the other perspective, I've actually paid thousands of dollars for just very basic content, nothing that was like super professional. I was paying, I think I was paying like $5 to $6 per article, and I was using them on different niche sites that I had. And I just needed an article. I remember it was a site I had. I needed an article about pillows for pillows for bedhead or something. I don't know what to do, but anything. It was weird terms like that. Investment strategy tips. And I didn't care if the article was the best article in the world. I just wanted it to have the keywords in it. And probably, now that I think about it, probably the content that you would get out of your software is going to be better than the content that I would have gotten out of these people, because the content we're getting out of the software is actually, if you're picking the right videos, of course, if you're picking bad videos, you're going to get bad content. But if you're picking the right videos, then you're going to get real content that's really about the subject. And if it's really about the subject, it's really going to be helpful. And if it's really helpful, that's what Google wants, and you're going to get rewarded for that.
Exactly. I mean, these people, again, if you choose it right, these people are experts in their market. I could go to YouTube right now and find some SEO-related webinars, for example, and those webinars are 1.5 hours long. I mean, that is easily, I think, about 15,000 words, 15,000 words, and that's a monster post. I don't have to do that one post, but I can take that and I can turn that into multiple posts over time. So you're right. The point is that most people who write articles for us get their inspiration from somewhere anyway. That could be other articles, that could be YouTube videos. I'm trying to cut the middleman, and I'm trying to do the process myself, or my team is, so that we don't have to pay someone so much. Because our need, so I want to talk about JobRack now, if it's okay.
Sure, yeah.
Our need for content is really big. We want basically a few good pieces of content every single week just for one site. And this is a high quality site, by the way. This is not one of those made for AdSense niche sites or a viral article site. This is a site where we're selling something right now for, I think last I checked, $297 a year. And we're going to raise that up to $497 a year when the new year starts. So, this is high quality content that needs to go in. And I'm putting money where my mouth is, and we're actually using it on JobRack as well to, again, create posts that resonate with our audience. That's important as well. If my blog is about basically how to hire people, I shouldn't write about how to cook something. It should be specifically about that. So what we have done is we've gone in, we have found articles around how to write a great cover letter, or videos around how to write a good cover letter, or how to basically present yourself when you are applying for a job. And we've taken that video and converted that into text-based content, which means that we're able to target people according to that. So over time, it ranks. But I understand again, and I will say this, that you do need to push it a little bit in the beginning just to get it indexed, which means posting it on Facebook, posting it on Twitter, whatever you can do to make sure that you get some eyeballs back to your content.
Let's take a look inside and show us under the hood.
Sure. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so here we are. I hope it's okay now. So let me show keyword that we look for, how to train your dog, and we just look for 8 videos, and we've got 8 here. They're different lengths, which means that of course the content length would differ as well when we publish it. I quite like this one. It looks like it's with an instructor, so maybe this comes with clear guidelines as to how to train a dog to pay attention, which I think is very important for anyone. And the website as well that they've linked to, K9-1, it looks like a high authority website as well, so we know that this person is teaching what she knows the best about dogs. So we were talking about quality, right? This is the title that's in. I'll read out the article, the first paragraph quickly. It says, before we even start obedience training with our dog, we have to be sure we can get our dog's attention. The good thing is to have a treat. In order to this, now full stop is missing here. So what I'll do in editing is quickly put that in. In order to teach this, we do an attention getting exercise where we say our dog's name, and when they look at us, they get a reward. So, just by looking at that content, you can tell that it is human readable. Mm-hmm. From editing perspective, I would always recommend going and editing it, because let's say if you were selling something dog related, as so was this person, we wouldn't want their links in there. We wouldn't want their branding in there. So I'd probably go in and remove that in the editing phase. But once this is done, what we also have, let me see. Okay, see, this person hadn't actually uploaded any tags for this video. Had they done that, we would have grabbed those tags as well. And if I can show you this here, there you go. We would have grabbed the tags as well, which is good for SEO. But in this case, this person doesn't actually have any. Then we can go in here and select or unselect a few things here as well. So we can choose to publish the post immediately. We can choose to put video attribution, important, including video in the post, entirely up to you. If it's an educational video, by all means go for it. But if it's a sales video, you probably don't want to link to someone else's video, right within the post. You can link to it as an attribution. And then this is cool. So you can add a footer link at the end, which is completely optional. So you can say, want to learn more about how to train dogs. Click here. And just let's put a link here, which could be a link that goes to a ClickBank affiliate product. It could be our own product, our own training. But when you're done with this, you can just go ahead and you can create this post. So let me just click on create post. And what's going to happen now is that this will appear as a post on your blog. You can change it as well if you want to. We have a couple of other things like integration with Usign. So if you want to grab images from Usign for this article, you can do that as well. And again, all of that is easy to do once you set everything up within the main menu of the plugin, which is right at the top. But again, the key thing I want to emphasize, and I apologize for my internet being sluggish, the key thing I want to emphasize is that this makes the process of getting high quality content and posting it very easy.
Yeah, I'm just going to interject here really quickly and say that, this content looks good. And I would say that for some people out there, if they're using this as filler content for a website, they're just trying to get some extra content in there and to get some extra traffic from Google, they might be fine with just publishing it like that. Other people might say, okay, I really want this to look really, really good. I'm going to go in there, take a little bit of extra time, edit it, just go in there. Instead of, the old way was you had to either pay someone to do it or you write the whole thing yourself. Now, instead of writing the whole thing, you're just going in there and you become just like an editor. You just go in and fix a few things, and now you've got a piece of 100% unique content.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Now, I want to show you something else as well here. So this content is now published. We have previously, before we got on this call, set up a keyword dog that anytime you see dog, it should be hyperlinked to this link, which you might see at the bottom left, yourlinkhere.com. The point is that you can do that with your content as well. So if you put out something, you can pre-select keywords that will automatically be hyperlinked to your sales page, your money-making pages. So that way you don't have to go in and re-hyperlink or edit it too much. The point being that this is an automation tool, and we've tried to automate as much as we can with this tool. So again, the article is done. If I also reload then the home page, you'll see the new article is there as well, and it's good to go. Now, like I said, the next thing I'll do from here typically is I'll take this link and I'll post it on my fan page, I'll post it on my Twitter feed, and basically tag a few people who I think could find the article useful.
Cool. And everything that you've shown us so far, that's included inside the front end offer?
Correct. That is included inside the front offer. Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else? It looks cool so far. Is there anything else that you wanted to show us before we move on to the OTOs?
No, I think that's it about the main offer.
Cool. Okay. So looks cool so far, and bring us through. Sorry, I wanted to ask you this as well. As far as the front end goes, is there one offer there? Are there going to be a few of them there? How's that going to work?
Sure. So there are a couple of offers. The first offer is for either one site license or unlimited site license, and people have an option to choose either, of course.
Okay. So there's one site and then unlimited, and I see here with the one site, there's it doesn't have the option to do the affiliate links and when it says 100 sites here. So
okay, it should be one site. I'll fix that up after.
It should be what?
Should be one site. So just one site for one of them, and the other one is unlimited. I think the unlimited one might say 100, so I got to fix that.
Okay, so that's unlimited sites there. And is that unlimited personal sites, or is that also sites for other people?
Unlimited personal sites. The developer license is actually upsell number 2, and we can talk about that a bit later. Yeah.
Bring us through the funnel. I'll let you take it away.
Sure. So that's the main offer. I mean, very clearly creating as much content as you want. We don't put any restriction on how much content you can post either. Then the upgrade number 1, is the pro version of this software. It has a few additional things. One of them is a scheduler. So with that, you can set things up so you can say that I want one post to be made every 4 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, and so on. And that post will automatically be made based on the keywords that you select. So you can choose keywords beforehand. Let's say if you're one of those sites, those viral sites where you want to get new content coming in all the time. So for that, you can just let it run. You can pick a few keywords and we will automatically content for you. Well, the software will, and it will post that over for you so that you can come back in and check every couple of days or so, and you can see that all your content is posted. The second thing that the Pro version has is integration with Hootsuite and Buffer. So we thought about social syndication because we know that social syndication works really well. We thought maybe we should build our own. But the problem with doing that is that if we try and build our own Facebook or Twitter integration, eventually they will change something and we'll have to come back and change it again. And if we don't do it, we'll do a bad job at it. So instead of trying to involve too much process in here, we integrated with Buffer and Hootsuite, which are free to use. Again, they have different licenses, but at the basic license, it's free to use. So you can integrate with Buffer and Hootsuite, and based on that, you can automatically, as soon as the content goes live, you can either at that time push it out live to Facebook or Twitter, or if it's on a scheduler, then it will automatically be pushed out to your fan page and your Twitter feed and on other places as well using Buffer and Hootsuite just via this integration. So that's the second thing as well, that if you want to drive traffic, this is what you should do. The third thing actually is quite interesting. So a lot of people like to do small articles, short articles, 500 words. That's it. I like longer articles. So it would be better if you could combine 2 videos into one and create a longer article. So in this case, what you can do with this upgrade is that once you're happy with one of the content from one of the videos, you can simply grab content from the other one and you can mix it up together, in sequence, and then you can post it. So you can have 2 or 3 or 4, as many videos as you want. So that way your content is longer as well.
So you can create, so you can create as many, as far as like mixing up the different content from videos. Is there like 1, 2, 3? Is there a limit on that, or how does that work?
No limits.
No limit. So you could kind of create a one of those viral posts that's like 7 ways to do to I don't know 7 ways to skin a cat. I don't know. They always say that
Yeah.
there's so many ways. 7 ways to tie your shoes, and then you go out there and you create one of these viral posts, and you could use the different content from YouTube, and you've got all the different like ways of doing it. Is that like a possible way of doing it? Creating one of these like 7 ways things?
Exactly, that is. I mean, that's a really good idea. I've got another one for you. Let's say you wanted to do sort of, what is it called? There's a term for it, a roundup post of some
Mm-hmm.
sort. So you could say that we looked at what people thought about outsourcing, and we gathered information from top 10 business owners about what they thought about outsourcing, and you could have 10 separate videos combined as one article in one place, and that's already like a really strong video that you can share with all these 10 people and everyone else in that market.
Cool. Okay, I like that. Okay, so that's OTO1. That's the pro version. The next one, you said that's the developer.
Correct. So OTO2 is a developer license. With that, you get a certificate which tells you that you can use it for your client sites as well, and you also a different license key for that. Now, just want to be clear here, the developer license means that you can charge a client to install it on their site, and you can also sell a site, you can flip a site with this plugin installed. And I mean, this is interesting, right? Because if you were to flip a site, which let's say you were selling for 50 grand and this plugin was installed in it, the buyer would be more happy to buy because they wouldn't have to worry about creating content because all the created with this solution. So you are forwarding automation to the next person who comes in. And they'd be happy because they don't have to lift a finger anymore to get the business to run without them.
So you can sell sites, and you can have the whole angle on it for the customer being like, look, I'm going to sell you the site. It's got all this content on it that I've created, and you're going to be able to keep on creating that content using the software that we're going to install for you. And you're fine with them having the software on the site and selling it like that.
Of course, no problem at all. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I like that. Okay, so that's OTO2. Any more?
Yeah, so we have one more upgrade, which is the reseller license. We typically don't put it on, but recently a lot of our customers are becoming internet marketers themselves. They're graduating our level and they want to resell this plugin with more commission. So the reseller version basically gives people 100% commissions either on the main offer or main and upgrade or main upgrade and OTO2. And that's again optional. There are three different levels: 97, 197, 297. The difference is in how many times you can resell at those commissions. So what will happen basically, and I want to explain how this is different to developer license. With this one, you can show this to someone and say, hey, you can buy content here. And what's going to happen is they will buy from us. You will get 100% for that sale, but we do all the support, we do all the training, we do all the onboarding. That's completely on us. You just get to sit back and enjoy 100% commissions for that sale that you've made.
Love it. Neil, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Is there anything else, anything that we missed, anything you wanted to mention before we wrap it up?
I think just one thing, like I was talking to someone else about this today as well, and they asked me what would be the number one thing you would recommend people to do in their business. For me, it's about, well, diversification and building assets. So for example, and yes, before I forget, the Shopify story, which is very relevant here. So this person I met at an event a couple of months ago in Bangkok, he was running his own Shopify stores, and within the first 8 months, they had hit $1 million in sales. Now, some might think that's really big. Some might think that's not big enough, because I also know someone who hit $1 million in a week. But the point is that this guy did all on the basis of content marketing. So they were in a market that was selling sex toys, so they couldn't publicize on Facebook. The advertisements on other, different websites weren't yielding good enough results. So they realized that they had to go with content marketing, and that's what they built their entire business on. And I think it's a commendable feat to sell $1 million worth of products only with content on your website. You can't share links on Facebook. You can't share links on many other places because they don't allow sites like these. So what they did was they diversified. That Facebook can't work for them. Any of the traffic method won't work for them. So they have to create content. They have to market with content. So they're diversified. They build multiple assets, and it worked out for them. So that's what I would recommend to you as well. that whatever you do in your business, diversify as much as you can. Make sure that you have other sources of income. Make sure you have other sources of traffic, and content marketing is one of them.
Again, thank you so much for coming on the show, and best of luck with your launch.
Thank you, Mike. Happy to be here.
I hope you enjoyed the interview today with Neil. If you are interested in picking up Contentio at its lowest price, you're going to want to come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, December 15th. You're going to be able to grab it at its lowest price along with my special bonuses. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.